then we can put stuff on the internet. The internet.
The interwebs. Oh!
The internet. Hello, internet. Hello, internet. We're not going to put that on there, though.
Might as well. Just makes us look more retarded than what we already are.
We're plenty retarded.
I mean, stupid's in half of our name.
Yes.
It's my name, but it's in half of our name together.
Your first name is stupid.
Apparently.
Hi.
Welcome to another episode of Big and Stupid Game Reviews. I'm Big Mike.
And I'm Stupid Jay.
Actually, I'm Stupid Jay.
And I'm Big Mike.
We're retarded, and I've been drinking all morning.
He has been drinking all morning.
But today, what are we reviewing, Mike?
We are reviewing Alice, The Madness Returns.
And if you're lucky enough and buy it new, you actually get a copy of the original Alice.
Which I did. And I played... Why don't we start with that, since it's...
Well, I didn't play it, so... But I guess we can always review that separately.
We don't need to review it separately,
Okay.
because here's the thing. When American McGee's Alice came out, it was fantastic. It was a PC-only review, or not, it was a PC-only
Release.
And it was a great game back then. You play it now, it has that weird 2D trying to be 3D, camera flat, everything gives you a headache feel, and the controls were made for PC, so playing it on a controller is a little bit weird. The game is still good, the story's good, it'll give you a headache, and it's not nearly as good as the game we're reviewing now. That was the whole review.
But it's
American
free.
McGee's Alice. But it's free.
If you bought the game new. And you should buy the game new.
And you get achievements and or trophies depending on what system you're buying it for.
And of course we know if you prefer, you want achievements because trophies are just gay. Gay. So if you don't want to be called gay from your friends, please have an Xbox and get achievements. If you have a PS3, don't tell your friends you get trophies.
Okay.
Because you just sound gay.
Well,
you're going to get beat up.
why don't we... You're going to get beat up. Why don't we review the game, Alice the Madness Returns?
Alright, let's start with what we like about the game.
Alright.
First and foremost, presentation. Game looks great
Looks awesome.
from a distance.
Yes.
Once you get close, you know, you can really see the textures, and sometimes they're even put together badly, where you'll get like two floors are put together and you can sometimes get stuck on it. Now, I shouldn't be getting into the bad right away.
No.
But the game does look great. Every level has its own look and has its own feel.
Yes.
Alice herself looks fantastic, and her animations.
All of her animations, the way the dress flows, the way her hair flows. They definitely took the most time with Alice, which is great because that's what I'm looking at the whole time you're playing the game. You're looking at your character. So that's what you want them.
I mean, the enemies look really cool.
Yes.
You have your own different set of enemies for the most part on every level. Again, giving it its own feel. You know, and there's the way the levels are constructed, really cool. Again, they look really neat, and the music too also flows beautifully with this game. It's one
Also,
of the
if
few
you buy,
games where the music
if you buy it
sticks
new,
out.
you get the soundtrack
This is
for
the
free as well.
soundtrack. Yeah, this is true. But again, this is one of the few games where the music sticks out at me. Usually, I get very focused on a game, and I don't really pay attention. But this is one of the few where it's like I really like the music, and it doesn't get generic with like the bigger. I'm not gonna say the boss battles, but the mini boss battles, because you don't really. Well, I guess you do kind of have some boss battles, but you know we'll call them mini boss battles. And for a lot of, it's not like heavy '80s guitar riffage. You know, it's just more amped up, and you know really gets you into it. It's one of the few games where it sticks out, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, one of my favorite types of games are the 3D platforming games. Crash Bandicoot was one of the first games that I loved, so there's something about that 3D platforming. When it's done well, there's nothing better, in my opinion, than a good 3D platformer. This one, I feel like I'm saying this a lot in these reviews. It's a little bit easy. You have this quadruple jump, so there aren't many things that are out of your reach when you're jumping. You know, maybe 3 or 4 times in the entire game you know, you have to time your jump out exactly right. But otherwise, you can jump literally 4 times while you're in the air and float. So it ends up, the platforming ends up being pretty damn easy, which I don't really have a problem with because the game is so good.
Well, it does throw in other little things too, like traps and
Yeah.
you know, and the hidden ones where you have to use your shrink vision to see hidden platforms that will actually take you to the next part, or will actually take you to secret locations, one or the other. So it mixes it up a little bit,
Yeah.
but you know, the combat I thought flowed real nicely. It's basic light attack, heavy attack. I like the fact that you can combo between the two. I love the weapons. I love the variety of the weapons. I love how they all work, and certain weapons work better for certain villains.
Yeah.
So it's really cool to experiment, see, and then it's really cool when you're surrounded by different villains, and you're doing different things, and you're switching up your weapons, doing different attacks, and the dodge maneuver, one of my favorites in games.
Yes.
Instead of a simple dodge to the left or right, or dodge any direction really, is you do almost like a quick disappearing act
Yeah,
to
turn
another
into
location.
butterflies.
Yeah, it looks really cool, and it's fast.
Yeah.
So you can really do it like real last second and really help you out, because you're going to get swarmed by enemies. You don't have one guy attacking you unless it's a big character. And
Yeah.
even that doesn't happen too often. It's going to be swarms of enemies, some flying, some below, and you know, so you're going to be all over the place. So it's a really helpful move and flows nicely.
And one of the things I liked about it was how you can switch your, you know, you can switch your weapons. It's, you know, you don't have to pick anything. You just, you use this weapon and then you hit another button and your pepper grinder comes out.
Mhm.
And then, you know, you can go back to the knife seamlessly. It's seamless.
Yeah,
you know,
that was
the combat a lot of times you end up having to switch your weapon, and you know, it takes a while, and then stuff's hitting you, and it sort of has a Fable-y feel to how the combat system works.
Yes, it's simple.
So, I mean, but when you're playing a game that looks this good, the platforming is good, kind of the combat's secondary, but even still, the combat works so well, it's not like they skimped out on that.
Yeah.
Like you're playing a Prince of Persia game, and the platforming's great, and the combat is awful. They're both great. They both work great.
Well, being we're going to be talking about the platforming, moving on to what we don't like, is part of what I don't like is the platforming. That platforming, it's good. It does what it's supposed to do, but it gets to the point where, I swear to God, where I feel like that's all I do for an hour. Or at least that's what it fucking feels like. And I'm just like, okay, oh, I have to jump here? Really? Wow, what a shock. What I've been doing for the past hour. You know, and it just, and the fact that every level is literally 14 and a half hours long, I don't want to keep doing it, and it just gets, you know, boring and whatever. One of the ways they mix it up is side-scrolling sections, which some are really cool, and some are really cool at first. And then you do that again 4 more times, and you're like, this part isn't fun anymore. And the side-scrolling sections, controls go out the window. I don't feel that they're nearly as good as when you're playing in the, you know, the 3D camera behind the third-person view, running around. And, you know, and again, they get to be a pain in the ass, especially the Asian level, where, you know, you're Paper Alice, and it looks beautiful. It's one of the best looking side-scrolling parts. But it's a pain in the ass. Her jump is terrible, and it's just a pain in the balls to get through. And, you know, they're just not as fun. But the other way they mix it up, too, is the slides, where you go down the slide level, and you slide around, you gotta jump and go on to the next slide. Those are fun. I think they're cool. I like the way they're done. I don't think there's enough of them, but, you know, I think they're neat. But I'm jumping, I'm jumping, I'm jumping. Oh, double jump, triple jump. The ones that are cool is where I gotta double jump, maybe float for a while, time it right, jump just right, because sometimes the platforms are so far away that if you don't time it spot on, you die. And you're going to die in this game. No matter how easy you put this setting on, you're going to die. You're not going to land everything, you know, you're not going to land everything perfect. But it's not frustrating. It's like, okay, I fucked it up, I'll do it again. But it's not where you're going to be like, they did this badly, and you throw it. You know,
I don't know how you were playing it, but the game
Like
took
a
me,
boss.
The
That's
game,
how I was
the
playing
game
it.
took me less than 14 hours to play through the whole thing.
I might have over-exaggerated the levels.
I thought
They're
the,
long. They're long. You gotta agree with me. They're long.
They're long levels. They're long
They're
levels.
long.
I thought the slides were interesting at first, but they never really switched anything up. The last slide
But
is
it's a nice break
is
from jump.
pretty much the same as the first slide. I thought the side-scrolling levels were the best parts. The part where you're in the ship and it's the side-scrolling.
The ship's the best one.
I didn't have any problems. But actually, probably my favorite parts were the parts where you had to, go over to this side, hit the little watch thing to make the platforms
Yes.
go up, and then get over to the other part before they come back down. That was the challenging thing. I didn't think any of the combat stuff was really challenging.
No.
Like I said, most of the platforming stuff wasn't challenging. It's just that timing stuff where you have to...
Yeah, the puzzles.
Yeah, you have to get your timing exactly right, or you're going to have to do it again. Holy crap. I have drank way too much coffee today.
I'll pay attention.
Okay. That's Alice right there. I forgot what I was saying.
Well, then I'll keep bitching. The other thing I didn't like is real popular do in third-person games is the dramatic camera view. I don't know what they call it. I call it the dramatic camera view, where it purposely goes to a weird third-angled bird's eye view when you're in the middle running around, and you're supposed to, because it wants you to see a specific look or feel to the game. A lot of games do it in third person, and it's like, I don't know. Again, I call it dramatic cam because I'm assuming it's supposed to add a little bit something to that experience. And it always happens when I'm in the middle of running somewhere, then that camera angle changes, and then all of a sudden I'm going right instead of straight. Or it's in the middle of combat once in a while, or the tail end of combat, and then I gotta change quickly how I'm moving my character around before I get my ass kicked. You don't remember any of those?
Well, I remember the
Okay.
dramatic camera angle, but I don't remember it during combat ever.
Well, I think, like I said, I think I happened during like the tail end of
And
my
yeah,
combat
and the
areas.
only time I
I
ever
probably got
noticed,
close to an area where it's supposed to kick in.
yeah, I probably only, it was 4 seconds that you have to walk a different way.
Yeah.
I would,
It's a pet peeve. I see no point to it, and again, it's okay. Now I'm going right instead of straight. Okay, I can straighten that out pretty simply.
Mhm.
But it's the fact that I see no point to it, and it's a pet peeve is all it really is, and I don't want it, and it's there. I don't want it, and it's there.
well, none of my pet peeves are in this game, so,
Well, other than some of the tequila, some of the shit. I'm losing intelligence with every sip. The fuck, with the way the graphics look, close up.
yeah,
You know what I'm talking
the
about.
textures.
Textures, yes.
Yeah, the textures, when you get close up, not great, but who cares?
No, it's just kind of it's a little disappointing when you look in like the backgrounds, you look in the distance, and everything's awesome.
Mhm.
Every level, so freaking cool, its own feel. And then sometimes you get real close and you're like big square
Yeah.
that you're walking on.
Well, there
and
wasn't-
again, sometimes they are. Sometimes they are put together badly.
Yeah,
The floor,
where the seams are.
yeah, and you walk and you stop and you have to literally jump. It's not a big complaint,
Yeah.
but
Well, I didn't spend too much time, with my face up against a wall in the game, so I don't think it's that big of a deal. And just I can look past a lot of stuff in a game if the game is different, storyline, look,
story's fantastic.
feel. It gets a little rapey at the end.
You think?
Yeah.
I like the ending.
No, the ending's good, but a little bit uncomfortable if you're, with the... I'm not going to give anything away. It gets rapey at the end. It happens. But revenge
No, it's great.
is
I mean,
is served, so...
I mean that whole thing goes to the my other major complaint really is that last level. It's retarded. It's You literally control your character to a doorway, CG sequence.
Yeah.
Then you literally control your character 10 feet, CG sequence. Which they could have CG rendered the walking to the paths, and it's supposed to represent something. And when you play, you'll see what we mean. And I understand the representation, but they should have made it one giant CG. I could have kicked back and enjoyed it that way. I don't need to be immersed in the storyline by walking straight.
Yeah.
If there was something hidden off to the left that I would have had to find, as a bonus, that would have been different. But believe me, I did that.
Oh,
I
yeah,
ran
no,
around,
no,
and there was nothing there.
There's nothing.
And it just leads up to the last boss battle, which is pretty unique.
Yeah,
I liked it.
The only
he was easy, but
Oh,
it
yeah,
was very.
yeah.
It was unique. And it was pretty cool.
Yeah, there was no, like I said, no challenging combat. The only thing that sort of bugged me was there were a lot of different types of enemies, but the only thing that there really was that white doll face on different stuff.
Yeah.
It was just, black flying thing, crawling thing, oozing thing that comes with a white doll mask on.
Well, the black ooze was the representation.
No, I know what it was.
I'm just saying that's why it's all over the place.
But I could have, I could have done with some, oh, we're gonna make an enemy bigger and scarier. We'll make 5 doll faces on it. It's.
I see where you're coming from.
But other than that, I mean, the game's fantastic. The platforming works perfectly. Combat's great. The levels are varied. Just, I feel so weird for saying it, but like the dresses, it's cool to get the different dresses. They all have, perks to them.
Yeah.
The way that her hair is animated, like when she jumps and it floats and then it falls down, it blows in the wind, the dress blows in the wind. Everything about how it's animated and what it looks like, is pretty much perfect.
Plus, it has another great feature for any game where you level up, and where you have any type of leveling system, and that's a Game Plus mode. So when you replay it, you play it on a harder mode with all your leveled up weapons, and every dress that you unlock per level now has a perk. So you can play again and play on harder difficulty levels with a lot less to worry about as you would in normal games.
Yes.
So there is the replay value.
Yeah. And then you can get the trophies.
Unless you like to get beat up. So, would you recommend it?
I absolutely recommend it. I bought it the day it came out, and I have no problems paying that, because if I can get my money out of a game by, it's like a 12 to 14 hour game, which is plenty long.
Yeah.
To constitute buying it in the first place. But when it has the replay value, it has the
DLCs.
copy of the original, which is a whole nother game.
Yep.
The soundtrack is good. I actually have it on my Zune. Listen to it. It's not something, it's not like one of those soundtracks that you get for free and it goes in your CD collection and you never listen to it. This is something that I actually enjoy hearing. So all in all, I would say definite buy. It's been out for a little bit at this point,
Wow, yeah.
but it still is holding its value.
Because it's popular and
it's good. And
well, I definitely could have done without longer levels. Levels I feel are all too long, and I would have rather had all those levels in half their time frame and given me 1 or 2 more levels. It would have cut down on the entire gameplay length, but I think it would have been much more enjoyable for me. And it's hard to recommend it brand new, even though it does come with Game Plus mode. It does come with the original game. If you're gonna buy it new, I would say wait for it to go on sale, $40, even $50, But I paid for it new, and I don't regret my decision. But again, with the levels the way they are, it gets long, and halfway through the game I had to give it a break for a couple days because I'm just like, I know I'm looking forward to a lot of jumping for a long time.
I couldn't stop playing it.
So, but if you buy it new, you do get the original game. So I do say you buy it new. Just wait for it to go on sale. Save yourself a couple bucks. I would, because it's a must-have, but it's not a must-have right now.
Okay.
So there you go.
There's Alice.
See you next time.